The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, it's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and a beautiful weekend. I'm loving this weather, but I don't want to hear what's to come this week.
Yeah, it's just another roller coaster, I guess, that we're on. And we're going back up, right, Kev?
We're going back up a little bit, but I don't think we'll see triple digits, so that's a good thing. We'll be close, but I think we'll be below it. But it was definitely a nice weekend for everybody out there, and I hope you had a great Mother's Day for all you moms out there. Let's take you outside right now, show you downtown Bakersfield and the beautiful Padre Hotel. The temperature right now sitting at 64, just a light wind out of the south-southeast. As we take a look at the hour by hour, you can see the temperatures will rise into the upper 80s. I'm expecting lower 90s by the end of the day. 52 degrees out of Tehachapi right now, a northwest wind at 7 miles per hour. A few pockets of wind over the Grapevine and also out near the Mojave area. And as we take a look hour by hour here, 55 degrees by 7 a.m. and then this afternoon we'll be warming you up into the 70s. Again, we are looking at some 90s, but just how high will those 90s go? Details on that in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Kev. Mother's Day weekend was extra special for some people this year as families got together for the first time since the start of the pandemic.
And while many are thrilled to have their vaccines and feel comfortable at gatherings, others are still reluctant to get those shots in the arm. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest.
Alex and Maddie, life is beginning to return to normal for many Americans, but health officials worry about a troubling number of folks still hesitant to roll up their sleeves.
Happy Mother's Day!
From joyful Mother's Day reunions to packed sporting events and in-person graduations, many Americans are finally beginning to enjoy some semblance of normal life.
I would say we are turning the corner. We now have, as of this morning, 58% of adult Americans with at least one shot. Over 110 million Americans fully vaccinated.
President Biden's goal, get that number to 70% by the 4th of July, hoping Independence Day will mark a turning point in the pandemic. But there are troubling signs that goal may be hard to reach. Despite creative moves to boost vaccinations, demand is falling, leading some states to turn down doses they get from the government, a clear sign many remain uneasy about rolling up their sleeves. Dr. Anthony Fauci's mission now, use trusted messengers like celebrities and clergy to reassure hesitant Americans.
The next thing is make it as easy as possible for people to get vaccinated, which we're doing now with the 40,000 pharmacies where you don't have to go online, you don't have to call up, you can just walk right in.
The FDA is expected to authorize vaccines for 12 to 15-year-olds soon, another dose of hope that herd immunity isn't far off. Pfizer has started the process of getting full FDA approval for its vaccine, which would mean it could then market directly to consumers. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, 17 News.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus in Kern County. Kern Public Health reported 38 new COVID-19 cases yesterday and no new deaths. 1,373 people have died from the virus since the beginning of the pandemic. State data shows there are 35 people in the hospital locally with the virus. That's up 3 from Saturday. 9 people remain in the ICU. Public Health is reporting Kern County has 15 cases of the B.1.1.7 variant that originated in the United Kingdom and 1 case of the B.1.351 variant, which was first spotted in South Africa.
It is last call for anyone wanting to get a free COVID-19 shot at Cal State Bakersfield. The mass vaccination site will close this week as it transitions to mobile clinics. One of the operators of the site, Kaiser Permanente, says the new targeted clinics will be up and running throughout Kern County early next month. The hospital says it hopes the mobile clinics will take vaccines directly to communities to help remove barriers and fight vaccine hesitancy. If you want to get a shot at CSUB, you have until Friday to get your first dose. And Lamont residents will have a chance to get vaccinated this week. A vaccine clinic will be held Thursday from 1 p.m. till 5:30 at Nueva High School. Anyone 16 and older is welcome, and walk-ins will be accepted. To make an appointment, just call the number on your screen. Organizers ask that you wear a mask and social distance yourself from others while inside the clinic.
Throughout the past year, we have seen the effects of the pandemic hit every aspect of our lives. Work, love, and commitment were tested in many ways. According to reports, in 2016, the wedding industry brought in $72 billion, but last year, that number decreased drastically. 17th Ileana Capillan joins us live in studio this morning with more. Good morning, Ileana.
Good morning, Maddie. Wedding professionals are used to tying the knot, but last year, the steps required to tie that knot became a little bit more complicated. This multi-billion-dollar industry brought in less than $56 billion. They had to deal with a halt to traditional weddings while not only keeping their own businesses afloat, but dancing delicately around the hearts of couples with plans to tie the knot. The pandemic put a veil on lots of things last year, including the wedding industry. As the virus spread worldwide, events quickly began to cancel, and before long, brides and grooms were having to hang up plans while changing everything about what they expected the happiest day of their lives to look like.
May 23rd, 2020 was first.
November 10th, 2020, and then July 10th, 2021. And now we've decided to cancel until we can have some kind of a solution.
3 dates later, the wedding of their dreams has been put off indefinitely. Shannon and Connor live in London, but their story is not much different from many couples in the States. But brides and grooms-to-be weren't the only ones facing heartbreak. Bakersfield wedding planner and event coordinator Tracy Miller says last year was something no one could plan for.
Most of our businesses had to stop. Unfortunately, some closed, but the work never stopped. We still had a wedding to plan, and we still had to figure out what we were going to do for our clients.
Planning and replanning with no certainty, causing some couples to postpone or cancel altogether, a financial burden for them and wedding vendors. Miller says she had about 20% of her clients cancel, another 20% decide to have micro weddings on private property, and about 60% of clients postponed.
We knew that all of the wedding industry has been suffering, and if we didn't have to take back our deposit, we didn't want to. I know that it's been hard on us, but it's been even harder on them.
With vaccines out and COVID cases dropping, there is a glimmer of hope for wedding season once again.
Right now, it's wild. Because of the pandemic last year, we're doing double, if not quadruple time, because we have weddings that postponed from last year to this year. And then, of course, our already booked 2021 couples. So we're doing double.
Although wedding planners are busier than usual, Miller told me they are only making revenue on half of the weddings happening this year because last year's financial burden was so tough. Now it's a game of catch-up. Wedding season in Kern County is typically seen in the spring and fall, but because of so many postponements last year due to the pandemic, this year you may hear the wedding bells ringing a little more.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
In studio.
All right, thanks, Ileana. Your time is 5:08 now. For the past 29 years, the Guaranty Shoe Center in downtown Bakersfield has offered a helping hand to those who need it most. The shop provides clothes and shoes, gathering so many supplies. It uses a fleet of vans to carry all of the donations. On Friday, the shoe store kicks off the annual Shoes for the Homeless Shoe Drive. Shop owners ask the community to support the event as it benefits those at the Bakersfield Homeless Shelter.
This wouldn't be possible, and the numbers we reach wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the generosity of Kern County.
The Guaranty Shoe Center has donated more than 67,000 pairs of shoes to the Bakersfield Homeless Center. If you'd like to donate, you can bring shoes directly to Guaranty Shoe Center at the intersection of 21st Street and Chester Avenue. You can also drop off those shoes in the lobby here at KGET. We're at 21st and L Streets.
Saturday marked National John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Action Day, and this weekend the Dolores Huerta Foundation hosted a votercade as part of the massive nationwide effort to fight voter suppression. The Dolores Huerta Foundation is one of 180 groups nationwide fighting voter suppression. This comes after Georgia passed a controversial voting bill that legal experts say restricts voters' access to ballots.
This is the foundation of our democracy. If people cannot vote, we could not have a democracy in our United States of America. So this is why it's very, very important that each one of us commit ourselves to this struggle and make sure that people's votes are not taken away from them.
Organizers also registered voters at the event on Saturday. Organizers say they hope to honor the legacy of the late Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis. The Dolores Huerta Foundation partnered with several groups, also hosting a vaccine clinic along with the votercade. Welcome back. Your time now is 5:14, and fire crews are on high alert in Northern California as the area is under red flag warnings. A wildfire started Saturday morning in Solano County and quickly grew to about 45 acres. Local crews and CAL FIRE arrived on scene to keep the fire away from homes. At least 9 firefighting agencies were called to the scene. The official cause of the blaze has not yet been released, but one man says he thinks he might have started the fire. He was mowing his lawn when he hit a rock and causing sparks. Officials urge putting off that type of work while under red flag warning, which continues into this morning.
At 20 making headlines around the nation, the investigation continues this morning into a shooting in Colorado Springs that left at least 6 people dead at a birthday party. The shooting happened late Saturday night into Sunday. Investigators believe the shooter was the boyfriend of one of the victims. They say he drove to the residence and began shooting people at the party before taking his own life. The motive is not known. The House Committee on Administration is scheduled to hold a virtual hearing on oversight of the January 6th attack on the Capitol today. U.S. Capitol Police Inspector General Michael Bolton is expected to testify. This comes 4 months after the insurrection at the Capitol. Congress is still trying to figure out how to move forward and prevent future attacks. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said in March that 7 House panels would be probing the attack.
Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has failed a post-race drug test, and its Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert has been indefinitely suspended from Churchill Downs. During an interview yesterday, Baffert said the winning horse tested positive for betamethasone. Baffert called the drug test results disturbing, saying it was the biggest gut punch in racing for something I didn't do. The test does not automatically disqualify Medina Spirit, as Derby officials await results from another sample to come back before making a decision. But if the findings are upheld, the runner-up will be declared the winner.
Crazy.
Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. Americans are eager to entertain guests in their homes in a post-pandemic world. The desire to host dinner parties is up, according to a survey conducted by ButcherBox, a meat delivery service. Close to half of respondents say they are very excited to entertain guests in their homes when it is safe to do so. The survey found the frequency of entertaining at home will increase, but the guest list will be trimmed. Beginning today, Crocs is giving away 10,000 free pairs of shoes a day for 5 days to healthcare workers. It's part of their Free Pair for Healthcare program. Through Friday, healthcare workers can request their free pair starting at noon Eastern time, so 9 o'clock our time, until the day's free pair allotment has been fulfilled. This builds upon last year's efforts when Crocs gave away more than 860,000 free pairs when the pandemic started.
If you're in the market for a new home, you may have noticed prices are high and homes are selling in days instead of weeks or months. Begging the question, is the housing market going to crash? NBC's Dan Sheneman has the answer.
Looking for a new home? Prepare to pay top dollar on a house if you're lucky enough to find one. Sellers are sifting through multiple offers. Frantic buyers are forced to pay significantly more than asking prices, often $100,000 or more. And cash offers, well, they're king.
We simply don't have enough supply. Inventory levels at all-time low. So strong demand combined with record low supply is pushing prices just straight upwards.
So then it becomes a question of how much can you afford? How badly do you want this house?
Historically low mortgage rates, the pandemic, and the work from anywhere phenomena created the perfect storm for an industry that banks on steady growth and inventory.
So the National Association of Realtors just said that the home price growth was 17% over the past year. And that's a new record, so higher than even anything we saw during the housing bubble of 2005 to 2007.
But will the current bubble burst? Experts say no.
Today's backdrop is fundamentally different compared to what happened 13 years ago.
Even with excellent credit, many first-time buyers are being priced out of the market.
Well, I mean, affordability was already a challenge for many buyers. And now that we've had a 17% run up in home prices, it's even more of a challenge.
You have the beautiful backsplash.
Industry experts say despite inflated home prices, the value of those newly purchased homes, it's expected to hold. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.